Hi everybody, it's Kate from This Life in Progress. Surprise! We're live on Thursday night. Gabe and I were just having our weekend prep meeting, and so I thought, people might be interested in knowing how we manage 6 kids on the weekend. So we thought we'd go live quickly with you before we watch our shows here tonight. You can tell I'm totally ready for bed because here on the East Coast it's past 9, which means that I'm in my room and ready for the evening. So we have 3 quick tips for you on how to prepare for a weekend when you have lots of kids coming and going. For those of you who are new to the page, you know that we have 6 kids, but what you might not know is that we have 6 kids ages 8 all the way on up to 15. So our weekends are really busy. Right now we've got baseball and ballet and cotillion and a show choir competition and a movie coming out that the little ones want to see. So it's a really busy weekend. So my first tip for you as you think about everybody coming into the house is to think about what you and your partner are going to do to stay connected. So Gabe and I start every weekend. Most of our Thursday nights are spent figuring out who's going where logistically, and then when he and I are going to have a little bit of time to ourselves. It's not tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we've got a bunch of drop-offs and pickups. So Gabe and I are going to connect on Saturday night when the kids are occupied doing a bunch of other things. So that's the first tip, is to figure out when you and your partner are connected. And if you're already having a conversation about kid logistics, you can make sure to work the 2 of you in there too. So that's the first tip. The second tip is we love to have friends over here whenever possible. I think it helps kids think that this house is open, that they can have everyone here, but as you can imagine, we can't have everybody have a friend over. We'd have a dozen children here. So as we make our plan for the weekend, we think about who's not going to be here and how much space that opens up. So tomorrow night, Caden is headed to a friend's house to spend the night there. That means we've got 1 spot. Simon is at a show choir competition. It's show choir season. I had no idea. It's super busy. Other show choir moms, did you know this? I didn't know that. So Simon's at a show choir competition until really late, but he has a ride. So that opens up 2 spots for us. So both Amy and Sarah are thinking about having other friends over. So we'll have more little girls over tomorrow night. We do the same things as we think about if we have an afternoon where a lot of people are off doing something else. That opens up an opportunity for other kids to have play dates. So the second tip is think about where in your weekend you've got space, and then see if that's a time for kids to be social, because honestly, we're totally used to 6 kids. So 6 kids, whether they belong to us or not, is 6 kids. They sometimes need a little help with the rules, but usually they're so fascinated by the fact that there are thousands of people here and we have chickens in the backyard that we don't have too much trouble. So we love to be the house where kids come and play, and we like to organize that well before we get into the weekend so we know where we have an opportunity. Otherwise, we can end up with 18 kids here really quickly if we didn't think through that. The third tip, hold on, what was the third tip? Gabe is here. Honey, what was the third tip? Oh, leaving open time.
Yes.
Gabe's looking at an RV magazine. Do you want to say hello? Here, wave, honey. There's Gabe. The third tip is to leave some open time so that you don't have it jam-packed, because the kids really love to spend time together. I think you know, but if you're newer to our site, we have 1 set of kids during the week, 1 week. We have everybody over the weekend, and then we have the second set of kids coming out of the weekend. So our kids come and go during the week too. We have mine every day before and after school. So they see each other, but their weekends are really time to bond. And so if we find ourselves overscheduled, they often get grouchy that they haven't spent time together. So the third weekend prep tip I have when you're having that meeting with your spouse is to figure out when you have time that is totally unscheduled so that people can do things that all families do, whether that be bicker or cook or work in the yard, but making sure that you've got time for those normal experiences and it's not all scheduled back to back is really important. So those are my 3 quick weekend tips for you. 1, make sure you have time for you and your spouse. 2, see if you can work in social time when you've got other kids coming and going. And then 3, make sure that you don't schedule yourself too busy and you have time to really enjoy yourselves as a family. So it looks like we have lots of people joining. How are you guys? Hi! So many people have joined. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone's there. Hi, Brittany! I'm so glad to hear your voice. Well, I don't hear your voice, but I'm glad to have you on live. So anyone else have questions for me? I'm happy to answer. One of the things I wanted to ask you too, we are nearly 2,000 followers on Facebook now. We are well close to 1,000 on Instagram. Lots and lots of followers on Twitter too. I would love to be writing or talking about things that are important to you. So let me know what you'd like to hear me write about. I work about a week and a half out, but submit your questions to Ask Kate or just drop me a note or leave it in the comments and tell me what you'd like to see us talk about, because this is really our space as blended families to come together and talk as divorced parents. And if I can talk about something that is interesting to you, all the better. Hi, Julie. Good to see you too. So that's my request of you, is leave that in the comments. Those are your 3 weekend tips. Go out and follow us on Instagram. I get some questions too on how we show up in different media. There are some sites that do the same thing on all social media. We do not. So I have a different Twitter stream than I do Instagram. Sometimes I overlap, like when I have a new post like I did today, those will go on all 3, but usually you hear random musings from me on Twitter, random thoughts. I'm not sure that you want those, but if you do, they're on Twitter. And then Instagram is pictures of our life, sort of like looking through our medicine cabinet, but a little bit more kosher and above board. So make sure that you're out there following. And then, of course, you know I wouldn't be having a live video without talking to you about Pinterest and the resources there. So I hope you guys have a great Thursday night. I'm really glad to be talking to you. Those are your 3 tips for the weekend. I hope you have a great one, whether you have everybody in the house or whether you got some time for just you and your love. And we'll check in again soon. Good to see you guys. Bye, everyone. Happy Friday night.